Hello everyone, welcome to Home Cooking with me Hema Subramanian. Today I'm going to share 4 wonderful methi recipes that you can enjoy during this winter season. So let's get started and check them out. For the methi paratha, first we're going to mix the dough. To a large bowl, take 2 cups of wheat flour, that is atta. Now to the atta I'm going to add a series of ingredients. Add half teaspoon of Ajwain, quarter teaspoon turmeric powder, half teaspoon cumin powder, 1 teaspoon Garam Masala powder, 1 teaspoon Chaat Masala powder and half teaspoon salt. After adding all the dry spice powders, now I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of chopped garlic, 1 teaspoon finely chopped ginger, 1 teaspoon finely chopped green chilli. Now add 1 tablespoon of curd. Next add 2 teaspoons of oil. So I've cleaned 1 small bunch of methi leaves. So these are the fenugreek leaves, you can see this is the large variety. So I'm just going to add all of it. This is roughly about a small bowl. So now mix everything together. Now if you want to chop the leaves a little smaller, you can do that as well. So now I'm going to gradually pour the water to mix the dough. Mix the dough till it's all well combined and just knead it for about 3 to 4 minutes. So I've kneaded the dough. You can see it's come to a nice smooth consistency. I'm just going to add 2 drops of oil. Just rub it all over the dough. Close the bowl and let the dough rest for about 30 minutes. So the dough has been sitting for about 30 minutes now. Divide the dough into equal size balls. We'll start making the parathas. So this is a nice good size for the parathas. Dust the rolling surface with some flour. Place the dough ball. Roll it out to a nice medium thickness. So once you've rolled it out, keep it aside. Heat a tawa. Once the tawa is hot, place the rolled out parathas. Cook the parathas on both sides. Once the parathas got the light brown spots, add some ghee on both sides. So these are very flavorful and delicious parathas. So once the parathas are cooked, remove from the pan and serve it hot immediately. For this recipe, I've taken 6 medium-sized potatoes, washed them nice and clean, peel off the skin and chop them into medium-sized pieces. You can just see how I'm chopping them. So this size is good enough because this is the size I want, because the potatoes will also cook faster. So once you've cut the potatoes, put them in water so that the color doesn't change. So next I'm going to just pick the methi leaves. For this recipe, I've taken 1 large bunch of fresh methi leaves. Wash it nice and clean. Make sure there's no mud or dirt in it. And just pick the leaves alone. Don't use the stalk. Next, to a nice white kadai, pour 3 tablespoons of oil. Once the kadai is heated up, add 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds. Next, I'm adding 1 large onion, roughly chopped. So you can add 1 large onion or 2 medium-sized onions. Saute the onions for a few minutes. Keeping the flame on high, saute the onions for 2 to 3 minutes. Next, add the potatoes. Once you've added the potatoes, add about 12 cloves of garlic, roughly pound. So garlic is going to give a very nice flavor. You can also chop it nice and fine and add it. Next, add 2 small tomatoes roughly chopped and 3 green chilies slit and mix that in. These chilies are very spicy, so I'm just adding 3. If you do like a little extra spice, you can add 1 or 2 more. So at this point, after about 2 minutes of adding the tomatoes, add all the spice powders. Add 1 teaspoon of salt, half teaspoon turmeric powder, 1 teaspoon chilli powder, 1 teaspoon cumin powder, and 1 teaspoon coriander powder. Mix everything well. So you can see the potatoes are already beginning to soften up. At this point, I'm just going to pour a little water so the masala comes together and the potatoes will be completely cooked. So just add about half cup of water, mix it in. Close the kadai and let this cook for about 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, let's check on the potatoes. You can see all that water is absorbed and the potatoes are also nicely cooked. So you can see the potatoes are nice and soft. So now I'm going to add the methi leaves. I'm just going to chop it nicely and add the whole bunch. Once the potatoes are cooked, I'm finally adding the methi leaves. You can just roughly chop them and add them. And gently mix that into the potatoes. This will take about 5 minutes to cook. Just take care to see not to break the potatoes. This is a very delicious dish. So the leaves, they seem like a lot, but once they start cooking, once they're cooked, it becomes really less. So don't worry about the quantity of leaves that you're using for the recipe. Cook this for about 10 minutes on medium flame. Once the methi leaves are cooked, add about half teaspoon of Garam Masala powder, 1 teaspoon amchur powder, and finally I'm finishing off by adding 1 teaspoon of red chili flakes that I've ground nice and fine. So just mix everything carefully. So you can see that aloo methi sabzi is coming together so beautifully. The aromas are incredible. So in case you make the sabzi in large quantity, you can refrigerate it for up to 2 days. It's really yummy and tasty. It's a perfect dish for all these potato lovers. You're going to absolutely love this. This is a very tasty and very easy to make side dish that goes wonderfully with fulkas and rotis and chapatis. I'll give you a couple of links to the other potato recipes I've made earlier. You can check them out as well. The first step is to make the masala paste for the gravy. To a pan, add 1 tablespoon of ghee. Pour enough oil. Next, add all the whole spices: cinnamon, cloves, cardamom, and half teaspoon of cumin. Next, add about 7 to 8 cloves of garlic, a piece of ginger roughly chopped. Next, I'm adding about 5 green chilies just cut up. Now you can adjust the spice according to your taste. If you'd like it a bit spicy, you can add extra green chilies. Next, I'm adding about 8 cashew nuts. So the cashew nuts is going to give you that nice richness to the curry. Continue sauteing all the ingredients. Now I'm going to add about 3 large onions that have been roughly chopped. Now you don't need to fine chop the onions because once we saute it, we're going to grind everything. So once the onions have turned to a golden color, turn off the stove. Cool the mixture completely. Transfer all the cooled ingredients to a mixer jar and grind it into a nice fine paste. Add a little water if required to get that nice smooth consistency. So now you can see the masala paste is nice and smooth. Keep this aside. To the pan, add a nice big piece of butter. So I'm adding a small bunch of fenugreek leaves. These are nice fresh fenugreek or methi leaves. So it's good to saute the fenugreek leaves, that is the methi leaves, because it will reduce the bitterness. So if you add the leaves directly, the curry can get bitter. So after about 2 to 3 minutes, I'm adding a nice big bowl of cooked peas. It's a nice fresh green peas. So make sure while you're making this particular curry, the peas are nice and fresh. If you don't get fresh peas, you can also use the frozen peas, but don't use the dried peas because it's not going to give you that taste. Saute for about 2 to 3 minutes Remove it from the pan and keep it aside. Next, to a nice wide pan, add about 1 tablespoon of ghee. Transfer the ground masala paste to the pan and just mix everything together. Next, add a teaspoon of salt. So you can adjust the salt according to your taste. So just dilute this with a little water, just about 1/4 cup. This will give you a nice gravy consistency. Maintain the flame on a low and just mix everything together. You can see we have this lovely creamy mixture. Now add the cooked peas and the fenugreek leaves, that is the methi leaves, and mix everything together along with the curry base. To make the curry all the more rich and enhance its flavors, I'm adding about 1/2 cup of fresh cream. The cream is going to make the curry very tasty and very rich. As the name indicates, it's Malai Methi Matar curry, so we need to add that much amount of cream to make the dish very rich and tasty. Wow, you can see the curry is coming together so beautifully. It's already looking so gorgeous. So close the pan and let it simmer for about 5 minutes. Wow, look how gorgeous that's looking. The Malai Methi Matar curry is done. I'm just going to finish off by adding some crushed kasuri methi leaves. Just mix that in. The aroma is just absolutely amazing. So you can turn off the stove at this point and serve it nice and hot immediately with some nice hot fulkas or chapatis or any Indian bread of your choice. Like I said, it's a very mild and very flavorful dish, perfect for a nice cold afternoon or evening. I'm making the pulao in the pressure cooker. To the pressure cooker, add 2 teaspoons of ghee. This is a very simple one-pot recipe. And add 1 tablespoon of oil. To this, I'm going to add the whole spices: cinnamon, cloves, cardamom, star anise and bay leaf. To this, I'm adding 2 medium-sized onions thinly sliced. For the ginger, garlic and green chilli paste, I've taken 4 cloves of garlic, 2 pieces of ginger and 2 large green chillies. Grind everything together and I'm adding all of it. Once the onions have turned to a nice golden brown color, I'm going to add the ground ginger, garlic and green chilli paste. Next to this, I'm adding 1 large tomato, chopped. For this recipe, I'm using a medium-sized bunch of methi leaves. Make sure you wash them clean. I've removed the stalks, I'm just adding the leaves. The leaves shrivel up as soon as you put them into the cooker. I have not cut them small. I'm using them as a whole. I'm going to season this with 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons red chilli powder. If you don't want to add red chilli powder, you can add extra green chillies to give a little spice. For this recipe, I've taken 1 cup of basmati rice. This is a 250 ml cup. You can soak the rice for about 10 minutes if you wish. I have not soaked the rice, I'm directly using it, I've just washed it. Just gently mix the rice along with the masala. This is a very simple and quick recipe to make. Before adding the water, I'm just going to add a few mint leaves. Now this is optional. I'm adding it just to give it a little flavor. For 1 cup of rice, I'm going to add 1 3/4 cup of water. Pressure cook for 2 whistles on medium flame. Once the steam comes out, place the weight. Press the pulao in the pressure cooker for a few minutes till all the pressure is released. Don't open the pressure cooker immediately. Wow, the pulao looks amazing. It's cooked perfectly.